We stand today at a critical juncture in history, one that demands clarity, courage, and an unwavering commitment to truth. Recent events have once again demonstrated the fragile balance between security, diplomacy, and the ethical obligations that underpin Western civilization. The return of hostages from Hamas captivity has revealed a horrifying reality, a stark reminder of the cruelty inflicted by radical ideologies and the urgency with which we must act.
Did you see that report, sir, that Hamas is going to stop releasing Israeli hostages? And what was your reaction? I think it's terrible. Look, I looked at the hostages that came in, and they're emaciated. It looked like something out of the 1930s. It's an absolute disgrace. And I think they saw the way the world viewed it, and they're looking for a reason not to send more because they're all, you take a look at that, it looked like it was a concentration camp, which essentially it was. Looks like it came out of the Holocaust. And what a sad thing. One of them was a young man, good-looking guy, a little bit heavier than perhaps he could have been, and now he looks like he's not even recognizable. Not even recognized.
Beyond risk of falling apart.
Look, I can tell you that those people have been badly hurt, both mentally and physically. I'm talking about the young women that came out also previously. And I think one of the reasons they're doing this is because they're probably sending the best. What you see is probably the best because they want to send people that look at least healthy. And that's not healthy. These people have been badly hurt. They've been interviewed by our representatives. They've been interviewed by Israeli representatives, and they're really hurting. They are really hurting mentally and physically. And I think Hamas is looking at that and saying, well, it's not going to get much better than that because they probably send out their best as a representative, and they've got more to send out, and they probably feel that they can't do that because it's not going to make them look very good.
Is this your or is there free to delay that, sir? Should a ceasefire then be off?
Well, I would say this, and I'm going to let that because that's Israel's decision. But as far as I'm concerned, if all of the hostages aren't returned by Saturday at 12 o'clock, I think it's an appropriate time. I would say cancel it and all bets are off and let hell break out. I'd say they ought to be returned by 12 o'clock on Saturday. And if they're not returned, all of them, not in drips and drabs, not 2 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 2. Saturday at 12 o'clock. And after that, I would say all hell is going to break out. And I don't think they're going to do it. I think a lot of them are dead. I think a lot of the hostages are dead. I think it's a great human tragedy what's happened, how people can be that mean to do. I mean, the one guy was laughing when a hostage he thought his family was alive, found out the family was dead, and his captor, so to speak, started laughing because he thought it was so funny. You know, this is a different group of people. No, I would say Saturday at 12, we want them all back. I'm speaking for myself. Israel can override it. But from myself, Saturday at 12 o'clock, and if they're not here, all hell is going to break out.
President Donald Trump has issued a firm ultimatum. All hostages must be returned by Saturday at noon, or, as he stated, all bets are off, and let hell break out. This is not mere rhetoric. It is a necessary stance against barbarism. The images of the freed captives, emaciated, broken, and visibly traumatized, should shock the conscience of the world. Trump's comparison to the Holocaust, while provocative, underscores the gravity of the situation. These are not just prisoners, they are human beings subjected to conditions reminiscent of the darkest chapters of history. This moment calls for an unwavering defense of truth, free speech, and moral clarity, values that have long been at the core of Western conservatism. Often emphasize the importance of clear and accurate communication in the face of chaos. If we fail to articulate the reality of what is happening, if we allow moral relativism to cloud our judgment, we risk enabling further atrocities. What is at stake here is not only the fate of these hostages but also the principles that uphold our societies. Hamas, a group that has consistently used civilians as shields and bargaining chips, operates on a doctrine of terror. Their deliberate manipulation, releasing the healthiest captives first to control public perception, should not deceive us. As pointed out, true dialogue requires a commitment to honesty and the courage to confront uncomfortable truths. The reality is that Hamas thrives on the weakness of Western indecision. The response to such brutality must be strength, not appeasement. The ceasefire, which was intended as a humanitarian measure, has instead been exploited to prolong suffering. Trump's ultimatum is, therefore, not just a political maneuver, it is a statement of principle. Israel's Security Cabinet, fully aligned with this position, understands that peace is only possible when evil is confronted, not negotiated with. Furthermore, this crisis sheds light on the broader issue of moral and psychological fortitude. Speaks about the necessity of standing up to tyranny with a well-structured and principled argument. This is not a time for passive rhetoric or virtue signaling, it is a moment that demands decisive action. Those who claim to champion human rights must recognize that true justice requires accountability. The families of the hostages have expressed their trust in Trump's firm leadership, hoping that his ultimatum will pressure Hamas into compliance. This trust is not misplaced. Throughout history, peace has only been achieved when those who seek to destroy civilization are met with unwavering resistance. The West must not be complicit in prolonging suffering under the guise of diplomacy. As we move forward, let us not be swayed by the emotional whims of the moment but instead remain anchored in principle. The complexity of human nature, as often reminds us, requires careful consideration, but it does not excuse moral cowardice. We must ask ourselves, are we willing to uphold the values of truth and justice, or will we allow ideological confusion to dictate our response? The time for indecision has passed. The world is watching. If Hamas does not release the hostages, it will be a testament to their continued inhumanity. And if the world fails to act decisively, it will be a testament to our own moral failure. Thank you.